triangle stamp makes its way onto the table for episode 14, and it's a colorful one from the island of Grenada. We can see that the year the stamp was issued is in the top corner, 1981. And the stamp is celebrating the second festival of the revolution, which we need to look more into. The stamp is worth 3 East Caribbean dollars, and there is a postmark on the stamp. Flipping it around, we can see the postmark reads Grenada, West Indies, and the year has to be 1981. What is neat is that the stamp's illustration of a map answers the first question that I usually have, and that is, where's Grenada? But let's take a look at the map anyway. Grenada is in the Caribbean, very close to Venezuela, and I can even just place the stamp over the map. Wow, that's even the same scale. That's too perfect. But let's first talk about triangles. Now, it's not that uncommon for a stamp to be a triangle. Just looking through the box, I found several more. Here's one from Chad, Nicaragua. Here are a couple still attached from Afghanistan. There's one from Czechoslovakia and the Netherlands. Now, the pioneer of the triangular stamp is a famous one. These are known as the Cape Triangulars, from the Cape of Good Hope. And they were issued back in 1853, consisting of 2 denominations, 4 pence in blue and the brick red 1 penny. These are classics that are cherished by all philatelists, and when we come across a classic, we've always come across a stamp of the classic. I'm losing count. Is this the 4th or 5th time we've found a stamp of a stamp? But here's something else we've come across again. Obliterator. Yep, it's an obliterator, also known as a killer, and it happens to also be in a triangle. Enough with the triangles, let's go back to Grenada. So the stamp comes in a set of 8, all of which are triangles, and all are about the second festival of the revolution. Now, I'm going to be giving you a quick summary of the revolution in Grenada, and because I'm going to be leaving out some major details and it is such a controversial topic, I encourage you to go ahead and read into it further before forming your own opinions. But it all starts back in 1974 when the United Kingdom gives Grenada its independence. The Prime Minister that took over, his name was Eric Gairy, and he somewhat used intimidation tactics to remain in power. He had this gang called the Mongoose Gang, the secret police for him that went about silencing the opposition. So he wasn't necessarily a good guy. But in walks Maurice Bishop. He leads a movement called the New Jewel Movement, and he overthrows the Prime Minister while he's out of the country, taking over and becoming the new Prime Minister. This is in 1979. So 2 years later, 1981, they're celebrating the second year or second anniversary of the revolution. Now, these stamps illustrate the concerns and priorities of the revolution. There's a strong emphasis on getting the country economically stable, and the country had gone through many years of poverty. This new movement under Maurice Bishop was about getting out of it. And you can see these various stamps: adult education, tourism, basket weaving, fishing, food processing, and growing the agriculture. Speaking of agriculture, you can see right in the very front of this image is nutmeg. Now, we're going to go a little off course here, but it is important. Nutmeg is a major part of the country's economy, and it's the reason why Grenada is known as the Spice Isle. So what is nutmeg? Well, the fruit itself is like an apricot, but the seed consists of 2 spices. The outer red is mace, and this covers the nutmeg seed itself. It can be found in most kitchen spice racks, and it's so important to Grenada that they even have it on the flag. Now, back to Maurice Bishop. What I didn't tell you is that he was Marxist, and this is during the Cold War. Notice that the stamp I found of Maurice is Soviet, and the Soviets honored his efforts. And it was suspected that the Soviets were purchasing all of Grenada's nutmeg to sustain their economy. Also, a big friend of Maurice was Fidel Castro, another revolutionary from Cuba. And this means that Maurice was not in a good relationship with the United States, Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan also saw Grenada as a Marxist threat. So things really get hectic in 1983, a couple of years after these stamps were issued. Maurice's second in command, his deputy prime minister, urges for shared power. Maurice refuses, and as a result, Maurice gets jailed by his deputy prime minister and then executed. Maurice was killed, and Reagan decides to then invade Grenada with the help of 6 other Caribbean islands.
Here is the latest situation as we now know it on the island of Grenada. It has been invaded by a multinational force, as it's being described. The bulk of that force, about 1,800 American troops. That includes Marines and apparently airborne troops as well.
So, sorry for the change of tone, but it brings up a very valuable point. The celebration of the revolution only lasted for 4 years, and these stamps are not only art, but they're also artifacts. They're from a very specific point and time, something that we can definitely look into and learn about. Thanks for watching, everyone. Come and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, happy collecting!